Alright, this is going to be a very short just proof of concept of a build. This is the Burning Fister. Basic concept is using a really big damage single hit. It doesn't have to be Ice Crash, can be anything. Ice Crash just has the most area of effect, and I'll get into that in a minute. As much damage as possible, so 2 Warden's Brands, even though they lower your attack speed by a huge amount, the attack speed doesn't affect the build in any way. Great Old One's Ward, Face Breakers for huge top end damage. So what you want to do is hit something as hard as you can, and the burn area just kills anything that walks into it. This is done by Herald of Ash. So my Herald of Ash is linked to increased burning damage, increased area of effect, and elemental proliferation. Now, it might seem a little bit odd that I'm using elemental proliferation with an elementalist, which I am, but the thing is, with the elemental proliferation from the Beacon of Ruin, the radius is 12, whereas the radius in the gem is 16, so you just get that little bit more area. So if you see, it's about the area of the prolif. If you take the gem out, the area just gets that tiny bit smaller that really can actually affect the build quite heavily. Obviously my gear is ridiculously bad, because 3,500 energy shield with discipline on is just unbelievably bad. So yeah, that's pretty much everything. So I'm just going to go into some concepts now that I thought were going to work. So the plan was I was going to use a single target skill and just punch something, and that would do all of the proliferation. But if you just punch something, the area of effect of the Herald of Ash burn is only the size of 1 corpse, which is pretty pointless. But if you hit things from far away, like this, and I tag something on the edge, then the area of effect is basically just this all the way around the edge. All of the corpses around the edge are now an area of just intense burning. So it works, but it's not very good for some very obvious reasons. So yeah, the other thing I was going to do was I was going to use concentrated effect on something so it would do more damage, which it does, but for the same reason, that means that there's only this area around you that's burning. So the burn is obviously significantly better, but you've got so little area that it's pretty useless. So you've got your big area of effect, you've got your big burn, you've got your huge damage. Why doesn't it work? Well, the other thing I was going to do was Writhing Jar. So you pop out the worms, you burn, and you can see the worms burn. But exactly the same issue, which is if you pop a worm and you kill a worm, it's just that tiny little area that just doesn't... Sorry, I'll just get into an area where it's easy to show off. Okay, worms, crash. Oh, well now the skeletons are burning too. Worms, crash, shit. Well yeah, you see, this tiny little area is just pointless. It works, and for single target, you've got your concentrated effect plus your worms, because the Herald of Ash is based on overkill damage, so the less health something has, the more damage the burn is going to have. So if you do hit something with a hugely hugely is not the right word, a very small health pool, then the burn is enormous. And this is another problem with the build, is the tiny energy shield. Sorry, I'm just gonna clear everything around it. Oh, shit. Okay. Worms. Oh my god. Worms. And stunning is also a really big problem. But yeah, it's just like, you can do a huge amount of burning damage in this tiny, tiny, tiny little area, so the single target is actually quite good when you get a good burn, but it just, for everything else, it just sucks. So the concept is there, it works, every single part of it works, it's just that you cannot increase the radius of the burn past this ice crash. I mean, you could if you went out of your way to get more area of effect, like if you went over here, if you went to explosive impact, if you went to, where is it? Anyway, there's some trap modes up here somewhere. There it is. Volatile mines, you could get that for the 5% increased area of effect. That doesn't only affect mines, by the way. Yeah, so you could, but then you already have to go all the way down here to get Resolute Technique, because if you don't, it's just going to suck even harder than it does right now. I took Elemental Equilibrium, it's a passive that I don't fully understand because I do fire and cold damage, so I thought it would hit for fire and cold, get 25 to fire and cold, and then get minus 50, which would result in it getting minus 25 to fire and cold, but apparently that's not how it works, because I'm an idiot. Yep, that's pretty much everything. So if you would like to try this out, there's some information for you. If you want to ask me any questions, I'll leave my name in the description of the video. Thanks for watching.